PWF Empire is live. Thank you all for tuning in this Tuesday at 9 Eastern Time on PWFempire.com and YouTube.com/PWF Empire. I am Jay, and tonight we got Lucas on the panel. What is up, man? Are you recovered from that scare that I just gave you before we went on the air?
Not really. I'm still trying to process what it was that you just scared me about.
Yeah, so we're going back and forth because apparently the news of Brock Lesnar's opponent for SummerSlam is going to be revealed on SmackDown. So I'm reading the spoilers for SmackDown, and then all of a sudden I go, what the fuck? And Lucas is like, what's going on? And I said, Zack Ryder just beat Sheamus, and he thought I was saying Zack Ryder was named as Brock Lesnar's opponent. So I just know you had that little thing where your heart went like, boom, like, what the fuck? Is WWE going crazy? But hell, I mean, just with Zack Ryder beating Sheamus, that's weird in and of itself. So I don't know what's going on with that guy.
I heard he survived last night on Independence Day, and tonight it seems like he's also getting some momentum. But, you know, knowing WWE, this is just a weekly tease, and Zack Ryder's going to go right back to being on Superstars next week.
Well, with Monday Night Raw last night, I guess I have to say I heard he survived as well because I didn't watch that main event. Or at least I didn't watch the whole thing. And I guess this is an announcement that I have to make for the show because I've been known as the guy that always said I watch everything. When I hear people making jokes about bathroom breaks and stuff like that, I'm like, well, shit, I just go to the bathroom before I watch the show, and I get my snacks before I watch the show, and I sit there and I watch everything, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it may be. I watch everything. But when it comes to NXT, for some reason, I just can't watch No Way Jose's matches. And then with Monday Night Raw, they were doing that big main event with all of the guys, the multinational versus Team USA. And when they got to the point in the match where Kevin Owens got disqualified for hitting his own partner, and then Kane, was it Kane? Somebody, yeah, I think it was Kane who hit Kevin Owens, who wasn't even in the match, with a steel chair. And then he got disqualified too. I was like, this is WWE telling me you shouldn't be watching this bullshit. And I went, okay, you're right. And I turned it off. I didn't watch the rest of it. And yeah, it seems like I didn't miss much.
I thought I didn't miss much for the entire night, but you showed me some highlights that convinced me, and there we go.
It's interesting. We'll get into those highlights throughout the show. We had a few interesting things that happened on Monday Night Raw. Sasha Banks calling out Charlotte and setting her sights on the Women's Championship. We also had the Wyatt family inviting the New Day to their compound, wherever the hell that is in the USA. And we also had Seth Rollins, and that's where we're going to start off for Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins, he had a match with Dolph Ziggler, and the funny thing about this, during this whole match, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, why isn't WWE mentioning the fact that Dolph Ziggler is having such a good showing against the WWE champion? And then it clicked in my head like, oh shit, Seth Rollins isn't the champion. Dean Ambrose is. Like, for some reason, my brain refuses to accept the fact that Dean Ambrose is champion. And the dude was on fucking commentary and sitting at the table with the title, but my brain will not allow me to acknowledge that. I don't know what it is. And this has happened multiple times in his championship reign. But yeah, we had that little thing. And after Seth Rollins' match, he confronts Dean Ambrose and he goes the hell off on Ambrose. He goes off on Roman Reigns, once again bringing all of those issues that Roman Reigns has been facing off screen, on screen, and infiltrating the WWE storylines with them. What did you think about Seth Rollins and the things that he was saying and the way in which he behaved on Raw?
I thought it was excellent once again. This is what, like a whole month now, 4 weeks in a row, Seth Rollins is executing perfectly on the microphone. His promo work has gotten a lot better. We talked about this last week, how he's pretty much showing attitude, showing a sign of being a rebel. I like it. I like the fact that he's taking this mean streak approach and not settling back on anything. He's telling it like it is about Roman Reigns. And people, they're saying that Roman Reigns should be taken out of this match and yada yada. But at the end of the day, I think that what WWE is doing here with Seth Rollins basically emasculating Roman Reigns every week, I think that's just as equal punishment as taking him out of the match, because what he's doing is he's turning the fans against him. He's turning the fans against him. He keeps bringing up the
mistake.
Not like he
needed much help doing that.
He's pretty much bringing up the mistake that Roman Reigns made. He's gonna beat it down everybody's throat until Roman Reigns comes back. That's punishment, because he's embarrassing the guy each and every single week, and I like that. I like the fact that Seth Rollins is doing that. And I also loved when he stepped over Dean Ambrose when he was sitting down there at the announce table. He just kind of skipped over him and kept talking on the microphone, because it goes to show Rollins basically is like, I don't give a fuck. And he should think like that, because he did beat Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, proving that he should be the WWE champion right now. Dean Ambrose did cash in, so you could say that Seth Rollins was basically, he was robbed. He was robbed that night. And although it's funny to think about it like that, he is the heel. We get it. But I think right now Seth Rollins has a great case for himself in once again becoming the WWE champion at Battleground. I like this strong momentum he all of a sudden has. And yeah, I'm saying that of all people, I know. Hell, I'm surprised too. But at the end of the day, I gotta admit, Seth Rollins is stepping up here. I loved it. And you know what? It wasn't just what he was saying, but it was also the delivery and his style of saying it. Like, his face is getting all red. He had a lot of fire in him in that promo last night. And I think a lot of it seemed genuine. When he was saying that he's put in more work than anybody else has, he probably legitimately feels that way since he's been out for 7 months. Or what was it, 8, 7 months, whatever it was. But the one thing, and I guess we're going to touch more on Dean Ambrose later, but the one thing I didn't like was what happened with Dean Ambrose. But we'll get to that. But as far as Seth Rollins, it was excellent.
Yeah, Seth Rollins, I thought that he was great on Raw. The fact that he went out there and he said some of the things that I've been wanting for him to say for a while now. I just absolutely loved it. He went out there and he said, he looked at Dean Ambrose and he said, "You stole my title, and that title is my life. So you stole my life away from me." And the way in which he said it with that fire, that passion, that intensity, that is exactly what I wanted from him in the feud that we got with Roman Reigns. Remember when I was on the show and I was ranting about how it doesn't seem as if there's a sense of urgency to Seth Rollins, like he needs that championship back.
I'm right there with you.
I was looking at him on Raw and I was like, damn it, this is the Seth Rollins I want to see. And the changes in which WWE has made with his character, that getting the sense of urgency, him literally saying the championship is his life. And not just that point, shifting the focus back to Seth Rollins and what he's good at, which is him in the ring. He was talking about how Roman Reigns took shortcuts to his road and, tying in the whole wellness policy violation. And Seth Rollins put the focus on his in-ring acumen. The fact that he beat Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. The fact that he beat Dolph Ziggler on Raw. The focus being on who Seth Rollins is in the ring as a competitor. His strength is fucking wonderful. That's what I wanted from him all in 2015 when WWE was continually marginalizing him. And every time he went out in the ring and he performed in such an amazing way, you get some bullshit at the end of the match that invalidated everything that happened before it. And they pretty much told you, it doesn't matter how good Seth Rollins is in the ring, he's not good enough to seal the deal. This is him sealing the deal, and this is him being the Seth Rollins that I want to see. Great stuff.
You said this is the Seth Rollins you've wanted to see since last year. Shit, this is the Seth Rollins I've wanted to see since 2 years ago when he was the one responsible for breaking up the Shield. Because ever since then, I felt Rollins should have had that attitude that he has right now. Oh, everybody thinks Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose are better than me. Well, screw that. I'm going to prove I'm the man. And right now, it took 2 years, but right now is when he's actually doing that. When he's taking it out of his own hands to tell everybody that this is how good I am, and I'm going to prove it. And you're right. This is what we should have seen in the feud with Roman Reigns. I don't understand why it was so hard for WWE to give us that story. Hell, I wanted that too. That's why I'm right there with you. But we're getting it now, so hey, I guess it's making up for it. But now to get into Dean Ambrose here, I don't know, man. It kind of felt like he was once again buried. And I know it's funny for me to say that because he did put Seth Rollins through a table, but I just felt like that was overshadowed by the excellence of Seth Rollins' promo delivery. I just felt like Dean Ambrose attacking Seth Rollins really didn't do much for him. Now, it did get serious at the end. He did get personal. But that's the problem about Dean Ambrose. You can't have the guy shift from being comical to all of a sudden we have to take him seriously. He has to have that consistency of booking in which he is a badass the entire time, and he's a guy you want to take seriously the entire time, because when he's doing those jokes and he's being a prankster, it affects those moments when he is being serious, such as last night. I just want more attitude out of Dean Ambrose, much like the attitude we're getting out of Seth Rollins. Everything in this feud so far is great. The only thing that needs to be worked on now is Dean Ambrose and get his mean streak going, get his ruthless aggression going.
Yeah, I guess I have to say this about Dean Ambrose because it's not necessarily a situation where I think he's a terrible champion or anything like that. It's just that a lot of my thoughts on Dean Ambrose, they are connected to the fact that WWE did such a terrible job of building him up to be a champion. But what I'm seeing from him today, it's not necessarily bad. It's just that it's not for me. I look at him and like the quirkiness, it's very hit or miss, and a lot of the times it's a miss and it just comes off so weird. But I see flashes of brilliance out of him every now and again, but it's just not consistent enough for me to sit here and say, yeah, I'm rocking with Dean Ambrose now. And I guess it's a situation where Roman Reigns' suspension, it's done wonders for Seth Rollins because shit, it's provided him with some material to work with. But as far as Dean Ambrose is concerned, he just seems like a passenger right now with everything that's going on. Seth Rollins is driving the narrative. Roman Reigns, shit, without even being on TV, he still has a piece in what's going on. And I feel like Dean Ambrose, he's just along for the ride.
Yeah, we see his frustration start to boil in. And hopefully next week he can just deliver some excellent mic work and give us a promo about how he should be taken more seriously, because that's all that's pretty much missing in this feud right now.
Alrighty, what you have anything else to say on this whole situation with Seth Rollins and Ambrose?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Yeah, Seth Rollins was great, and Dean Ambrose was buried.
I do have to point this out though, because I saw a video package with all of the three guys from the Shield promoting this triple threat match. Still sucks that Roman Reigns is missing out on this. It really, really does. But then again, if he was on TV, then that means he wouldn't have been suspended, and then Seth Rollins wouldn't be having that material to work with. So who knows what would have happened with Seth Rollins and how Roman Reigns not being suspended would have impacted what's going on now. But I'm still feeling a bit of a void. Even though I love what's going on with Seth Rollins, I'm still feeling that void of Roman Reigns not being there and what he's going to miss out on because of that.
I look at it from the other angle. His absence right now is so good because it's adding buzz and it's adding speculation as to what's going to happen when he comes back. And I think this benefits the pay-per-view Battleground, because for the last few years we've seen that Battleground is pretty much like a joke of a pay-per-view. But this month it's looking like it's going to go all out. So, hey, I guess Roman Reigns being suspended and then coming back at that very night is going to do wonders for WWE.
But the buzz would have still been there, specifically based off of the fact that it is the Shield triple threat, a match that people have wanted to see for years, and they are going to get that match. So I understand that the buzz is different because Roman Reigns, he got suspended, and he's going to be coming back on that night, but it's still, I can't stress it enough. We do not know, and we will never know everything that was lost because Roman Reigns is suspended.
That's a good point,
Sucks,
too.
but
yeah.
we'll never know.
And, well, before he went out, just keep in mind that he kind of did start insulting the crowd, ironically enough, the day right before he got suspended. So was that a sign that they were going to turn him heel throughout this feud? I mean, we'll just never know.
Well, I'm sure at that point they knew what was going down. They knew the suspension
that's
was
true
coming.
too.
So
that's true too. Yeah.
Who knows how their plans changed because he got suspended. But next up, what do we have to discuss? You know what? Let's talk about Sasha Banks. She came out on Monday Night Raw, confronted Charlotte, the WWE Women's Champion. And I got a few quotes from this little war of words that they had. So we had Charlotte, before Sasha even came out, she said that she was all hype, no substance, and she talked about how the crowd always chanted for Sasha, and she said chants don't pay the bills, championships do. Then we have Sasha Banks come out, and Charlotte is talking to her about how she's not even in the conversation for a possible women's championship match, and Sasha responds by saying, no, sweetheart, I am the conversation. When she did that, I finally had my fucking mark out moment. Because I told you, ever since Sasha has come back, it's only been sighs of relief. I finally had my fucking mark out moment last night when she said, I am the conversation. And then the way in which Charlotte set up Sasha Banks to define what a boss is to her, thought that was phenomenal. Like, this is a promo that Sasha Banks desperately needed, and it was desperately needed for the whole women's division. And I think that we're taking a step in the right direction based off of what happened on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, this feud, or I shouldn't say this feud, but that back and forth exchange between both Sasha and Charlotte definitely did favors for both of them, as you said. It wasn't one-sided at all. It didn't benefit just one party. It benefited everybody. And Charlotte really needed that the most, in my opinion, because we all know how good Sasha Banks is. So it's not like, we should be oohed and awed with what Sasha Banks did. But Charlotte, to me, stood out just because of the fact that she brought it. Like, I'm not saying she overshadowed what Sasha Banks did. I'm just saying I'm more shocked from what Charlotte did, because I already expect those things out of Sasha Banks. So Charlotte.
So you're saying your lowered expectations allowed you to be more impressed by Charlotte?
Pretty much. I expect greatness out of Sasha Banks on a weekly basis. So that's no surprise to me there that she's going to always deliver. But Charlotte, I mean, wow, this was a complete different promo from what we've seen over the last few months, because normally she just sounds like she's asking for heat and she comes off annoying. But no, yesterday I was actually interested in the things that she was saying. I agreed with a lot of the things that she was saying, especially when she brought up that she's been the boss this entire time because Sasha wasn't around and she's been the champion the entire time. I'm like, that's a good point. So 1 point there for Charlotte. But I just think that having Dana Brooke there is really taking away from her credibility. I just kind of wish this was Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. We don't need Dana there. Make this a personal rivalry between Sasha Banks and Charlotte. Let these women go at it. Keep Dana out of the picture completely. At this point, I don't think you need Charlotte, because not that you don't need Charlotte, that you don't need Dana. Sorry about that. I think that Charlotte last night proved that she's good on her own. And she doesn't need Ric Flair. She doesn't need Dana. Her and Sasha Banks can steal the show. Just them two alone. You don't need Dana in this at all. And I think that kind of hurt Charlotte last night, especially with how weak it looked. That they had to run away from Sasha. I'm like, really? It's 2 versus 1 here. So just make this 1-on-1. And that's all I'm asking for. Everything else is perfect, though.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat, I think it was Hoodies, he said that the promo wasn't even that great. I mean, I guess that's a point that can be argued, but I'm looking at it from the perspective that this was necessary. This had to happen. And it's so crazy that I heard Charlotte come out there and say that next week will be the 1-year anniversary of the bullshit Divas Revolution, basically their debuts up on the main roster. And the fact is that in all of that time, the closest that we've come to character development for Sasha Banks has been them airing video packages of what she did down in NXT. Now, last night, we got some legit character development from Sasha Banks and her going out there and explaining exactly what a boss was and her being able to flex and show off the swagger that she displayed in NXT. And that's why I loved it so much, because I tell you guys all the freaking time, I'm a story guy. I like characters. I like to see how those characters evolve and live within the WWE universe. And it was so necessary for Sasha Banks to go out there and let everybody know, well, you're not carrying a championship around. This chick has a championship. How the hell does that make you a boss? What is a boss? And she laid it out ever so eloquently. And she talked about the fact that Charlotte has not been able to beat her quite yet. So yeah, that was wonderful stuff from both of them. As far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit about Dana Brooke. I'm not letting her rain on my parade. This is good stuff. This is something that I feel like it lives up to what WWE is attempting to do with the women's division. Finally, this is something that I can say, okay, well, I can sense a change here. And that's good stuff. It's a good start. They're not where they need to be, but I like the road that they're going down.
But remember, keep in mind that in the past, every time they start this road, or at least it seems like they're going to start it, right away it just falls apart once again. So I'm not trying to get all negative here, but especially with the brands, especially with the brand split coming up. All right, but especially with the brand split coming up, though, you gotta wonder what the hell is going to happen with the women's division. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's going to go out that way and get all negative again, but be cautious. That's all I'm asking for, my friend, is be cautious.
Of course. I mean, it's WWE, but my whole thing is criticize when necessary, but give credit where credit is due, and it's definitely due in this situation. Great job from Sasha, and, you know, Charlotte, she played her part, so good on you, homegirl. Good on you.
Yeah, let's just release Dana. Get her out of the picture.
I mean, she can go wait for Emma to get better, because I like that partnership between those two down in NXT. I don't think I don't think Dana was ready for the main roster quite yet. So, you know,
Emma certainly is, though.
Get on NXT. See, well, no, whatever. I don't know. Hey, there are some voids that could possibly be filled down in NXT. I like to see her go on a run towards the top, because NXT, the way their women's division is set up, you have Bayley and Asuka at the top, Nia Jax right there, and then below her you have Carmella and Alexa Bliss, and they're not ready yet. So we need a few more people up there at the top, and Emma, she could possibly be that one. What else do we have to discuss now? Okay, so the Wyatt family, they had a few segments on Monday Night Raw. The first segment that they had, it was them inviting New Day to their Wyatt family compound. And I wrote down a few quotes from this one too. New Day comes from a world that doesn't really exist, and we come from a world where pains and realities are constant. And they did their promo, this vignette, in some kind of raggedy ass barn setting. It looked as if it was something right out of the Walking Dead universe, and real rundown. And they were inviting New Day to their world, which they believe is a real world where magical unicorns and rainbows and none of this stuff exists. It's all about pain and fear and all of that absolutely wonderful stuff. And then later on in the night, Xavier Woods, he expressed a bit of apprehension about the idea of so gleefully accepting this invitation to attend the Wyatt family compound, which was accepted from Big E and Kofi Kingston. So you have any thoughts about what happened with the New Day and the Wyatt family on Raw?
Oh, definitely. I still hold by my opinion that the Wyatts, even though they're doing all of this now, they still have no credibility. Like, I still can't take them seriously. WWE, I don't care what they try and do. I'm not going to get over the fact that these guys were jokes a couple of months ago. And now all of a sudden they're in a compound. They have their own little home in their house. That's cool. But is that ever going to change the fact that they were jokes a few months ago? No. So at this point, they can add all these little cool graphics to make them seem badass. But at the end of the day, they're still the same old Wyatt family to me. And as far as the New Day is concerned, I got to give them props because they're doing everything in their mother to make sure the Wyatts get over. And I appreciate that. I appreciate what WWE is doing with the New Day and telling a different story and not so much have it be about humor. Well, they were making fun of the Wyatts all these weeks, but now it seems like they're going to take a different approach. As you saw Xavier Woods there basically say we have to take these guys seriously and they're dangerous. They're not jokes. So I like that. I do appreciate that. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction. But again, they have to do a lot of convincing for me to take the Wyatts seriously again because up to this point, I'm still of the same opinion of the Wyatts. And again, I appreciate what the New Day is doing, but unless the Wyatts defeat them at Battleground, I don't think anything changes.
I honestly haven't even gotten to the point where I've thought about the match quite yet because I'm really enjoying the way in which the storyline is unfolding right now. And this is a great pairing between the New Day and the Wyatt family because if you look at what the New Day stands for, all of this power of positivity versus what the Wyatt family stands for, all of this death and destruction and all of that stuff, it's a wonderful pairing, and I believe that this could possibly be a way, well, I know for sure it's definitely a way to spark an interest in the Wyatt family and the way in which WWE is executing this thing, getting the Wyatt family out of that element of the arena and just like the status quo and going to a different setting in the barn and all of that stuff. It's wonderful for me.
But don't you think
I'm really enjoying it?
But don't you think it's also kind of hokey and too phony? I don't know. I think it's too out of touch with today's product. That's just me though.
I definitely understand where you're coming from there, and I've had those thoughts myself, but I like the fact that this is happening because if you look at who the Wyatt family are, like, this is all that they're about. And me being a type of guy who likes characters like this, like complex characters, and me being a fan of Lucha Underground, this shit is wonderful to me. I love it. I don't say that to say that you're wrong in thinking it's hokey. It's just the fact that you have to turn up your suspension of disbelief just a little bit higher, or maybe considerably higher, to buy it. And this story is so good that I am willing to do that. So that's a decision that I, made as a fan to say, you know what, this shit, it does kind of seem a little bit weird and unbelievable, but I'm okay with that.
I mean, we are talking about 3 swamp people and then 3 black guys who put unicorn horns on their heads, so.
And what's up, Duke?
Hey.
Long time no see, man.
Yeah.
Nice of you to join us here.
Oh, yeah, I've been here the whole time. I've just kind of been waiting to put my 2 cents in on something I cared about from this week, so.
Okay, so the Wyatt family, this is where you, put it down here?
Oh, this was the only thing worth watching.
Why do you care? Like, what is it about this feud?
Because this is the first week I've cared. This is actually like the first week I've seen this feud and went, oh, this could be something. And it has entirely to do with Xavier Woods and nothing else.
I think you're onto something there because I was watching the segment too, and Jay, I was just about to say to counter what you were saying earlier, Xavier Woods, he kind of just presented that interest level for me, like his expression, his fear, his doubt, and he was barely talking, and I'm like, fucking Xavier Woods, talk, say something, and so that was kind of building in me, like, when is this guy gonna talk? And then when he does talk, he snaps. And I was like, wait a minute. So I definitely see what he's talking about there. I don't know. I guess a lot of it has to do with Xavier Woods more than it does with the actual Wyatt family, which, again, goes back to my point. The Wyatts are still the same old Wyatts to me. I just appreciate the New Day's story here. But whether or not this is more about the New Day's excellence as it is to the Wyatts, that's debatable. Right now, it seems like it's the New Day that's really making this all look like $1,000,000 on TV.
See, I don't necessarily think we have to choose one or the other. It's a partnership here. The one big thing that I've said with the Wyatt family, and one of the reasons why it's been difficult in the past for me to get on board with them, is because there's no change to WWE based off of what they do. Like, they play these psychological games with people, and the folks come out there and they play the role for a minute or two. Then it's like, okay, I kicked your ass and everything is okay, and I'm back to being happy and cheerful and things like that. But the reason why it's working now is because we do see that live and in full effect. Like, we're able to watch in real time the Wyatt family having a psychological effect on somebody, and that person is Xavier Woods. So he's doing nothing more than acting out all of the feelings that they are projecting. And you have to have something that, you know, like, you have to have a catalyst to make Xavier Woods do what it is that he's doing, and that catalyst is the Wyatt family. So it's actually a partnership here.
But as you've seen in the past, like for example with the Shield and the Wyatts, there's always these little stable wars that happen in the WWE or in wrestling in general, where most of the fans are split 50-50. I like those kind of stories where one side cheers for this team and then the other side cheers for this team. I don't get that sense here. I just think that it's pro New Day, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not saying that that has to be the case, that one side has to be, that both sides have to be split down the middle, but it would be more compelling if it was 50-50 and you had some cheering the Wyatts, some cheering the New Day.
Not every feud has to be like that, though. It's okay.
No,
to
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it adds to the excitement.
Can I put an analogy in here? Like, it seems a lot like when Scarecrow goes up against the Batman. Like, the Wyatts have that fear toxin that they're using. Nobody's cheering for Scarecrow. They actually are doing a greater job of getting even more people behind the New Day here. Even the people that kind of like the Wyatts, I feel like, are behind the New Day in this program. It doesn't seem like much of a choice. It actually feels like we've got a heel and a villain and a face, even though necessarily the Wyatts aren't heels. So I think they're doing a very good job.
Yeah, well, going back to the feud with AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, I think that feud worked because you had two people who were just going out there and they're fighting for an achievement, and two real guys. But not every feud has to be that way, even though it was fucking amazing, and I would like to see more feuds like that in WWE. Not every feud has to be that way, because this one is booked from a perspective. Bray Wyatt said it himself. This is, you know, positivity versus fear. Who the fuck is going to cheer for fear? Who the fuck is going to be on the side of evil in a battle between good versus evil? You know, so I don't necessarily think that this needs to be one of those feuds that has 50-50 support from the fans, and where, you know, half the people are on one side, half the people are on the other. I think the way in which it's set up now, it works.
Fair enough. I agree. I'm just saying it adds more to the excitement because, you know, then it adds more to that bigger match feel. I'm not saying this won't be a big match, but it certainly can be bigger than what it's going to be if we had that reaction from the fans. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens until Battleground. Xavier Woods, though, he's been the MVP so far for this feud.
Oh, Lord.
But
Every
do
time
we
you
need-
say we'll have to wait and see what happens, you're setting yourself up to go, I was right.
We don't need two of those. We don't need two of those matches. We already have one in AJ Styles and John Cena. Pick who you want to cheer for. You don't need two of those. We don't need two of those on the same card, because that almost kind of like makes it sound like WWE doesn't know what they're doing from their own perspective, and they can't get you behind somebody. Here, they're forcing us to be behind the New Day by the way that they present it.
Oh, that, I mean, Xavier Woods could still possibly turn heel. That we don't know yet if that's the direction that they're trying to present to us.
Okay, guys, I wanted to talk about this one thing from Monday Night Raw that I noticed, and I'm going to see if I can find this tweet, because I was talking about Vicky Guerrero last night and wondering, because there was something that she said that made me think that like Stephanie and Shane were going to be running Raw after the brand extension, like they were going to be running Raw together, and this whole thing with Teddy Long and Vicky Guerrero and what's that, John Laurinaitis, this is all about just finding a COO for SmackDown. But that's not the important part. The important part is someone responded to my tweet and saying that shit, that's the wrong one. Goddamn, that's the wrong tweet. This person responded to 2 different tweets. Well, thank you for being so interactive, but this tweet that they, the one that caught my interest was, everything that they are doing with the brand split right now is just for comedy. And that really clicked in my mind, because when I read that, I was like, damn, that's true. Like, if you look at everything that WWE has done to build up to the brand extension and this draft, it's always been for comedy purposes. Look at Teddy Long, Vicky Guerrero, John Laurinaitis. You look at that segment that Shane and Stephanie did with New Day. Everything that WWE has been doing on screen to build up to the brand extension, it's always been from a comedic perspective, and they have fun in not knowing what the fuck is going on. Like in that segment with New Day and Stephanie, they're sitting like, we don't know. We don't know. It could be. This could happen. We don't know. It's possible. We don't know. And I'm sitting there like,
they don't know.
Holy shit. This is fucking terrible. For all of the ads that they're running, and they're talking about how this is going to change WWE at its foundation, and the ads look fucking wonderful. Whatever the WWE production team is doing, they're amazing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They're the best in the world. They need to talk to the fucking creative team and find out what the hell is going on screen, because the on-screen build-up to the draft is absolutely terrible. It's terrible.
Goes to
Sad,
show you,
as Donald Trump would say.
Goes to show you what the creative team really is. To be quite honest, they don't know what the hell they're doing. That's kind of just the reality of it, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's, the shitty part about it is they have fun in not knowing what the hell is going on, and they think that we're supposed to have fun with it too.
See, but
and I'm just sitting there like,
and we're 2 weeks away. We're
I
2
think
weeks
they
away
might
now.
know. I think they've known for a long time, and I think the thing that they're having fun with is maybe it is going to be Stephanie on Raw, Shane on SmackDown, which is probably what they're going to do. But I think that they have known what they're going to do, and their whole concept here is, all right, let's put in an aura of fun around the fact that we're going to be having a brand split. That way it doesn't seem so hectic, because we have to, it's not like a regular WWE draft. We're going to have to draft every fucking buddy. And that's probably going to be more than just a SmackDown type of thing. They're going to have to do something like the Twitter ones and breaking, this person just got drafted, and here's a supplemental draft. I think they're just trying to create an aura of fun around it, because when they actually do have to draft, it's going to be a fucking nightmare.
and if that is the case, and I'm not putting it past WWE for that to be the case, I don't like that. I don't like it at all, because I want to get a sense of what's going on backstage. Like, if it's hectic, let us know on screen. And this goes back to the situation with Seth Rollins and him getting injured and, you know, having to abdicate the WWE Championship. WWE tied all of that up in a nice little pretty bow. They did a tournament for it, and they corporatized the chaos. I want to see the fucking chaos. Like, I want to see Triple H or Stephanie go out there and say, our prized possession, our child, the face of the company just got fucking injured. We need to find out what the fuck we're going to have to do in this situation. And then with this draft, why are we not seeing anyone on screen, say for example like a Dolph Ziggler, going out there acknowledging the fact that, you know what, my career over the last few years, it hasn't been what I've wanted it to be, but I have an opportunity presented in front of me with this draft, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to bust my ass to show the COO of Raw or SmackDown that I am an asset. I'm going to do everything in my power to increase my stock value so that they know when they draft me to their show, they have a star. They have somebody that's ready to grab that brass ring or something like that. Like, we haven't seen any of that at all. I think they mentioned that once last night in the match with of all people, Becky Lynch and fucking Summer Rae. Really? So they're the only two people that give a fuck about the draft right now?
Yeah, it's really not that hard to tell a story heading into the draft. I don't know why they're doing it with the GMs, unless the GMs or the COOs, whatever you want to call them, unless that's supposed to be a big deal. Maybe that's why they keep hyping just the GM aspect of it, because it's going to turn out to be two huge surprises for Raw and SmackDown. If they're not surprises, I'm telling you right now, this is going to blow up in their faces. Because instead of doing that, instead of promoting those GMs and those authority figures, they could actually be using that time to promote and establish names that need to be established, like a Dolph Ziggler.
There you go.
Yeah, like
I just use Dolph Ziggler as an example. I'm not saying that's the
yeah.
fucking guy, but I mean, it could be Dolph Ziggler. It could be anybody on the roster.
Yeah.
Like, why do I sit here as a fan and acknowledge that, but you don't have the wrestlers that exist in that universe knowing that, if the brands are going to split up and one world title is going to be over here, then that means we need another world title over there, and we need more main eventers. We need more big stars. Like, I want to be one of those big stars. I want to be in one of those slots. Like, why don't we have anyone connecting the fucking dots like that?
And the funny thing is, they haven't even talked about the World Heavyweight Championship either. Like, we're supposed to have amnesia and act as if there's going to be two titles all of a sudden. Why not bring that up on the air? Oh, well, shit, since there's going to be another show, SmackDown is going to have their own roster. Don't you think that they should bring up the fact that there's going to be a new world champion for that show? I mean, they're not doing any of that.
Well,
Once
they're
again,
like
they
subtle.
corporatized it. They cleaned it up nicely behind the scenes, and let's just phase out the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and it's stupid.
Just the WWE Championship.
It's stupid. I want storytelling heading into this.
Well, my thing is, why can't we just make the IC title that belt? Like, honestly, like,
That's what I was.
And then out of this Cruiserweight Classic, sign the guy who fucking wins the thing and make the other belt the Cruiserweight belt.
That's what I proposed in the original show that me and Jay did me, Jay, and Kaz did many, many weeks ago. I said, instead of the Intercontinental title, I think it was the U.S. title, I said, make that be the main title on SmackDown. But the point is, make one of those mid-card titles the main title on SmackDown. I'm perfectly fine with that, too, if that's what you're saying, though.
You guys really think that'll work?
Yeah, why not?
I really think that instead of bringing back a title that you already got rid of, let's make the IC title that, and then let's introduce a new title in this Cruiserweight belt. Because, let's be honest, we've signed a whole bunch of fucking NXT talent that can really work in that division. You've got a whole bunch of shit here. If you put it all on one show, you could have a Cruiserweight division.
Yeah, that's one.
But the question is,
Kevin Owens can win, so I'm not.
But the question with that is, and I like that idea, is, can the Cruiserweight division sell in 2016 for WWE?
I guess we'll see next week.
Put it on SmackDown.
I know I'm buying it. So the Cruiserweight Classic it starts next week. So yeah, right after NXT. So a bit more wrestling to watch.
You know, whoever it is going to be signed by the company. So whoever wins.
Yeah, I haven't even thought that far out as to what's going to happen from the Cruiserweight Classic, but it would make sense. You would think.
Let's just hope this doesn't end up like Tough Enough.
This guy wins like a 32-person tournament, or however many. Yeah, I think it's 32. Yeah, and he wins and then goes on about his day like, okay, bye. You know, we enabled you to make more money on the indie scene by providing you with this platform, and bye. No, it's not going to work that way.
Can you imagine if you put it on one of those fucking guys, you have him come up to the main roster, and he becomes the guy that you're basing your Cruiserweight division around, that's exclusively on SmackDown? Now you've actually got some reason for someone to watch SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like that. But the question is, would WWE take it seriously? Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're going to just do this Cruiserweight Classic just to drop everything.
Let's hope not. But they've been known to do stuff like that.
We'll see.
You guys have anything else you wanted to discuss on the show? Like anything at all? Because that's pretty much it for all of the topics that I had.
Brock Lesnar, has that been announced yet?
Oh
Let
yeah.
me check.
Do we know who his?
Not yet. I'm checking these. Damn. I'm checking these results. I don't see anything yet. We got Brock Lesnar's facing Mark Hunt at SummerSlam because 50-50 booking says so.
We have a rumored opponent.
Yeah, I think
Is that,
I know.
Randy Orton.
I could definitely see that being it too.
That is a match that I've wanted to see for a while.
See, but I have a problem with them announcing it being Randy Orton if it's going to be Randy Orton. But that's why we need to know, damn it, who is he going to face?
Well, who else could it be? Who else do we want to throw Brock Lesnar at
Roman
SummerSlam?
Reigns. Roman Reigns.
They can't do Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns is good. I like what I've read on like dirt sheets about what they might actually be doing with him. I want them to do that.
Are you talking about that Road to Redemption bullshit?
Yeah, I actually like the concept of breaking him down after this, and them using this as like him being embarrassed.
But how many times has he been broken down already?
See, but the thing here is they're saying Roman Reigns is an embarrassment because he did that, and the whole thought process is to bring him back up the correct way. So,
but they've already tried to bring him up the correct way.
For the 15th time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. I'm not waiting another year to fucking hype up Roman Reigns again.
But now that the booking's right, I mean, is it really that bad? I'm assuming that this whole entire thing's going to culminate before too long. This is their top guy, after all.
Is he so? Wait, so is this redemption story based on him getting love by the fans at the end of it, or
they want to be able to turn the fans back in his tide, which pretty much means he's not just going to step off for that. I'm all for him having to chase something here, especially if it involves him chasing Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but
can we go ahead and acknowledge the fact that, because Duke, you say that the intent of this is to get the fans on his side. Can we go ahead and acknowledge the fact that that's been the intent of every fucking push that he's had so far?
Yeah, like
especially last year. That way.
Especially last year.
Yeah, but how many times have they actually got booking right consistently? In the Shield,
but who's to say? Who's to say that the plan that they have right now is going to be getting the booking right? Because when I hear a Road to Redemption storyline, I'm thinking of hero, Boy Scout, blue chipper, and that's not what I want from Roman Reigns.
And besides, we've already discussed.
Not what I want at all.
Yeah, and we've already discussed.
I want to know who's that basketball player that went out there and said, "I'm not a role model." Was that Charles Barkley? That's what the fuck I want. That's what I want.
And we've already discussed many times. It's been beaten down to death how Roman Reigns and sympathy just does not mix well together. He's not that kind of superstar like a Daniel Bryan who you could sympathize for, because you look at his size. He's not a guy you want to be like, oh, we feel bad for him, let's get behind him. No, he's a guy that should be dominating and should be kicking some ass. So when Roman Reigns comes back, turn him heel. Make him that bad guy that these fans want to hate. And I think that's the best story that could come out of all of this. But yeah, why not have him face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam? That would be a great main event.
But they can't. What I'm saying is they can't just say, "Oh, it'll be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam." They could say it'll be Brock Lesnar versus whoever the winner of the triple threat match is. But there's no way in hell that WWE is just going to say, "Oh, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns," and announce this early when they that'll be very weird, and it'll seem like he's being. I was going to say it'll seem like he's being rewarded, but being in a match with Brock Lesnar, that ain't a fucking reward. That's punishment. So maybe they are going to announce Roman Reigns. There you go. That's his extra punishment for getting the wellness policy.
Well, it does make things interesting.
Brock Lesnar.
It does make things interesting, though. And I know a lot of Roman Reigns haters may not like this, but think about if WWE was to do that and announce that it's going to be Roman Reigns. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? There goes that buzz again. That would be, come on, admit it.
Your whole thing with buzz, it's like piss people off.
No, this is not about pissing people off.
And that's buzz.
It's about selling out arenas. I think that match would sell out an arena. Seeing a returning Roman Reigns come back from a suspension, having Brock Lesnar be the guy he's going to face, wanting to see the fans. Or the fans wanting to see Brock Lesnar kick this guy's ass and humiliate him at SummerSlam. That's a good story, don't you think?
Man.
And if there's anybody who could take the Roman Empire down, it would be Brock Lesnar. That's all. Think about that.
Back up a big ass U-Haul truck full of drugs and just go to town. You're back on this thing where it's you fuck up and you're gonna get the biggest push of your life.
Well, who's to say he would win though? I'm not saying he would win. I'm just saying he
because the next time he faces Brock Lesnar, he has to win.
I agree with that, but again, hey, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to win. Brock Lesnar could go out there and just kick his ass after winning this Saturday at UFC 200, and everything could be right.
Well, yeah, the big step in that is winning. This Sunday. Is it Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
So wait, is this opponent still not announced? Like, come on.
Wait, well, why are we announcing his opponent before his match? Like, what if Brock
Lesnar
gets knocked out, the Kingdom Come, and can't compete at SummerSlam?
Because WWE wants to leech off UFC this week and try and outdo them with the SummerSlam announcement. That's the only reason they're doing. Basically, since he's fighting this week, they want some of the attention too. You know how WWE is.
And how do I know Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar are going to be drafted to the same show?
Maybe they're both going to be free agents.
Like, how do I know these dudes are both going to be on Raw?
Well, I guess we don't.
We'll find out eventually.
See that? Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen with Brock anyway. Like, I can't see anybody telling Brock you have to. Well, with Raw it'll be easy, but shit, like he's barely there anyway. I don't know why you would like waste a pick on that.
They'll act like he's not on the roster. You'll see. But if it's Randy Orton,
the entire thing is happening.
If it's Randy Orton, I'm just kind of mad if it is going to be him because it's like they're spoiling his return. And why would they do that?
Because I'm assuming that Randy Orton's going to return on SmackDown.
Okay, well, I guess the tapings are over. Shit, like we're sitting here stalling, trying to wait for the announcement. Apparently, the announcement was not made at the live SmackDown tapings. It appears the opponent reveal will be edited into Thursday's broadcast.
Oh, that's smart. Hey, I applied WWE there. That's smart.
I'm sitting here trying to fucking stall, waiting on the announcement, and then we get nothing. Nothing.
Because they worked the internet basically. They're like, hey, we're not gonna give that away to you guys tonight. You gotta wait for Thursday. Smart.
And I ain't watching. Now what?
The guy who leaked that it's supposed to be Orton apparently is the same guy who broke the story about Shane McMahon coming back in February. So that could actually be credible.
But I like what they're doing. They're waiting 2 days, waiting 2 nights before his big UFC fight. Why not? Yeah, give it a few more days. Let the hype settle in a few more days, and we'll see what happens with Brock Lesnar.
Weird thing about it is I don't get much hype, in Brock Lesnar being in WWE. Like, of course, there's hype with him returning to UFC, but I don't see it like transferring over to WWE.
Well, that's because the fight hasn't happened yet. Wait until the fight happens, and then you'll see the hype.
Yeah, so wait until the fight happens, and then announce it afterwards.
Well, there you go.
Because I don't understand, why not wait and see what kind of shape Brock Lesnar's in? Because if you announce Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar, and then I find out next week I'm not going to get Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar, you know how upset I'm actually going to be that you announced this match a week ahead of when you had to?
Somebody or a few people, the Camping Troll and Julian Campbell, are saying talk about Cena versus AJ. And Julian Campbell said should just talk about AJ. I'm fine with that. AJ, he's wonderful. Love
He's
the guy.
fantastic.
He phenomenal even. The segment that they had beat up John Cena, that shit was hilarious. That was so funny. And Carl Anderson with his hot Asian wife wrapping presents and then, beating up John Cena on Christmas. That was good stuff. I loved all of that. But I still don't. It's weird because I enjoyed this segment, but I still can't get over the fact of what happened at Money in the Bank. And I'm not really interested in the continuation of this feud, and nothing really has happened to get me back invested in it. But good segment though. I had fun, so that was good.
The one thing that needs to happen to get this feud going again is basically the conclusion.
The time machine.
What time machine? What time machine?
To
so they can go back and not fuck up Money in the Bank.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
There you go.
But seriously though, now that we can't go back and fix that, the one thing that needs to happen is AJ Styles, he has to win clean. He has to win clean against John Cena to make things interesting again. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen at Battleground, but
well, it's not going to happen at Battleground.
Yeah, but it certainly should happen at SummerSlam. I'd like to see a different twist to this angle where Cena doesn't win 2 matches, and for once, it concludes with his opponent finally getting the best of him in a feud. And you don't necessarily need AJ Styles, the heel, to beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. Maybe we may very well see AJ Styles turn babyface again and beat John Cena cleanly at SummerSlam. I like to see that too. But some way, somehow, I would like to see AJ Styles beat John Cena cleanly at SummerSlam. Because otherwise, this is just...
First, I would like to see them, before they even think about
Wait, what did you say?
Everybody that you had. Out of everybody that they chose for this match, why Enzo and Cass? Out of everybody in the fucking locker room. In that moment that they're playing up, you have no friends in WWE, I'm like, oh shit, are we going to see American Alpha step up to the plate here? And I was actually excited about that. I was like, on the 4th of July, American Alpha debuts to save John Cena when they say that he has nobody to help him out. And then they're like, oh, just kidding. We played up the whole nobody in WWE thing so that we could send out some guys who were in WWE. Another thing that they've just messed up in the storyline.
Yeah, I really don't have much interest in this match that's happening at Battleground. It's I want to know what's going to happen the night after Raw and how we're going to get back to AJ versus Cena as a one-on-one feud. Man, I'm saying right now, I don't see how what happens at Battleground could have some kind of substantial effect on the overall feud, but I don't know. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, and I'm hoping that they do.
So this is just a cheap way for the club to pull the numbers game, right? It's just gonna be, oh, it's 3-on-3, it's finally fair, and then Finn Balor's gonna come out, right? That's how it's gotta happen if you're them, right? Because if not, Finn Balor's never joining this damn club.
But then if he does join the club, this story would continue forever between the club and John Cena.
I don't see how Finn Balor has a place in the club right now.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. If anything, I think he should probably be the guy to cost the club.
I guess we'll see how all of that turns out. But
there's
shit,
too
I
many
guess
moving
since they're
pieces here.
I guess since they're not making an announcement for Brock Lesnar on SmackDown, we can go ahead and close this show out. Unless you all have anything to say before we head off air.
Not really. I mean, I wanted Brock Lesnar, that announcement to happen tonight. We're not getting that announcement tonight.
That would have
So
been
damn
cool.
you,
Some breaking
WWE.
news on the show.
Yeah, like, come on.
You just said a few minutes ago it was a good thing.
Well, no, it's a good thing for the overall perspective of it, but for me, I'm like, come on, I was doing a show, we were going to be news anchors. Come on, Jay, you should know about this. Come on.
Alrighty, guys, and only a few more seconds before this show ends, we're going to make it off the show without mentioning. No, I have to mention this guy's name. CM Punk. So funny, we talked about him on last week's show that we did, me, you, and Cash, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like talking about CM Punk is because every time I do, I always get somebody who's so fucking butthurt about it. And the clip that I uploaded to the PWF Empire Clips channel, somebody on there just they won a fucking gold medal in the butthurt Olympics, and they earned the shit out of that gold medal. But yeah, this is why I told you off air I don't like talking about CM Punk on air because people just like, for whatever reason, when I express opinions about him, it just really, like, gnaws at people.
Well, it's your opinion.
I don't know why.
It's your opinion, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
They can't take.
So,
But, yeah, some things to look forward to in PWF Empire. We will be doing our very own PWF Empire draft of the WWE and NXT rosters, and Charlie will be making his return one night only for that show, so that's something definitely to look forward to. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at PWF Empire and also subscribe to this channel. I'll be letting you guys know when to expect that. It's coming sometime this week. I haven't decided on a date quite yet, but be on the lookout for that. And that's it for this episode of PWF Empire Live. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Peace.